Last week, two friends I value a lot told me at different times that they appreciate a lot that I don't judge them, that I am a person, one of the very few persons in their life, one said, and the other said, you are the only one person in my life I feel that never has a judgment towards anything I say. Both of them agreed at different times and during different conversations that they felt that I hold space for them to be whomever they are, and I don't judge situations, relationships, or whatever they go through. So I took a time to reflect on this. I felt very happy to hear that. At the same time, I was not aware that I provide this for the people in my life. And so I went to think about it, to reflect on it, because I didn't know that I have those qualities so strongly in me. And so I noticed where it comes from. And it comes from my parents. And that kept me thinking a lot, of course, about the values I grew up in, the family values and the separate values that my parents hold. And that made me think about the time when I did not have the capacity to think of the positive sides of both of my parents and my upbringing, because I spent a lot of time frustrated with them, and I had a bad relationship with both of them for many years. It was until the moment that I realized I don't want to have a bad relationship with them, when I started to appreciate the good things in them. But it is a journey. It's not something that happens from one day to the other. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I noticed myself personally that I have better quality of relationships in general after I was able to heal and to be at peace with both of my parents. And I feel like, proudly enough, that I feel like I have accomplished that. I feel like if I look back 10 years ago, my relationship with both of them was not exactly what it is right now. But there is a lot of change in me. I also see that they have changed as well. But my approach has changed. If you're watching this video, you might think, I want to improve the relationship with my parents, or maybe you just watch my channel, you came across this video. And I would invite you to, if you're the second group of people, to go and think about how is it your relationship with your parents. The relationship with your parents is the base of all of your relationships. And maybe most of us know that. If you go to therapy, you're going to talk a lot about your parents. You're going to dive in the dynamics that you had or that you still have with them. I have done a lot of work around that. I personally started on this journey 10 years ago, I think, around that time. But I feel like I finalized doing the little adjustments that I needed during the past 2 years that I've formally started to go to therapy. So I believe that healing starts with yourself, and healing is a decision. It's not linear. You start up with intention to look inwards, to look in yourself. What is it that I don't like in them? And yes, you're gonna say things like, I don't know, they're whatever, they're critical, or they don't let me be me, or they're always this and that. But how are you as well? So try and detach from them and what they do. And this applies also to other relationships, but I'm talking about parents because I noticed that as long as you do not heal that, your other relationships might get affected as well. I started by looking into myself, and I let aside what their reactions or what was in them that I disliked. And so I started to focus on me, and eventually of course, when I started to go to therapy, I then started to really talk in details about situations and stuff, but I came up to the conclusion that many of the things that I was annoyed by in them were things that had nothing to do with me, were things that if I was okay, I could just drop, I could just let loose, let go. I didn't need to be annoyed by those things. I had to accept, in other words, that this is who they are. And you know, we as children, we want to get the approval and the unconditional love from our parents, but it should be also done the other way around. To what extent do you accept and love unconditionally your parents, even though they are, I don't know, too old school or too critical, whatever? Like, to what extent could you love? Could you love who they are and leave aside what the way of thinking is and stuff like that? Now, I'm not talking about parents who are aggressive, violent, or, you know, narcissist people. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about regular people. All of us, we have baggages, and all of us do things that are less good or less good in the eyes of other people. We all have that. And I think the reason why it is important, among other reasons, to have a good relationship with your parents and to learn to love them unconditionally and to be okay with who they are, it's because even though we come from the same blood and from the same home, we are very different. And at the moment that we learn to still love them and accept them, even if we don't want to talk to them every day, but when we are at peace with them, and in the best case scenario, when we learn to actually interact with them and have a relationship with them, that will help you and teach you how to work in teams, how to be a better human being, how to listen actively, how to be a better mother, a better wife, a better partner, a better employee. So all of this is just the school of life. I cannot believe that we are born within the family that we're born into, the parents that we are born just by coincidence. For me, it just sounds like, maybe it is like that, but for me, it's like, okay, but why are you born there, and why within those circumstances, and why do they do the things that you feel the most annoyed by, the things that hurt you the most? For instance, one of my complaints, and I've said it in another video on my channel, one of my complaints was always that I felt that they were not understanding enough of my emotions and my feelings. But you know, I had to learn to understand myself and embrace myself, and you know, give myself all of those things that I was asking for my parents to give me. And when I learned to do that, I mean, I'm still learning, and it's an ongoing process, you know, and even though now I'm an adult and I still learn every day to do that, but now I teach them that, you know. And it's not that I teach them, you have to do this for me, this and this way. No, but because I do it for myself, I notice that they talk to me and they move, like they act in a different way. I also, of course, when I learn and I reflect and I understand new things, I sometimes we share that with my parents as well. And so I notice that because I understand myself and I know how to treat myself, I share that with them as well. And that also has an impact. And they also in turn are more loving and understanding with me as well. So you see, what if I was born to that family because I had to learn to do that for myself and not rely on other people to do that? And we all have different things, different situations that we feel hurt by, or that we don't like, or certain reactions of people that we don't like, or certain combinations, you know, like how these people talk combined with how you feel is just it's a problem, right? I believe that healing is possible, but you do not expect that to happen tomorrow. You have patience. You can also find help in therapy or in a coach. And at the same time, you continue doing the work like within yourself, for yourself continuously. You want to be aware that it is something that you want to achieve, that in the end and someday later in the future, you want to have a great relationship with your parents. For instance, so I noticed that value of not judging people, I feel like it really comes from my family. And then I looked into my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and all of them are exactly the same. They are not people that would judge me or other, like we just let people live and do their own thing. That was like a strong value within my home. And so I noticed that when you start also looking into the positive that they left in you, that have become into you as well, you can also start feeling more grateful with them and be more loving and understanding of who they are. And therefore, by understanding the positive, you're okay embracing their negative side as well, because the negative side of your parents lives in you as well. So when you say, for instance, no, my parents don't know how to accept my emotions, and they don't know how to handle me when I am not feeling good and I'm depressed and I want them to pamper me, like, I'm sorry, but I was also not that kind of person for anyone. So it was not that they were doing that only to me, I was also doing that to other people. You see, the things that we do not like in them are the things that most likely, because we come from that home, we also do, and the things that we like in ourselves are most likely coming from them as well. Of course, there are many things that you have acquired by yourself, because on top of living within the same house, you were also going to school and interacted with other people, so you also have other qualities, positive, negative, that do not belong to them. But I noticed for myself, the things that I like the most of myself, they come from my parents. Like, for instance, I talk about health and exercise and eating healthy, and all of that comes from my family as well. And that spirit, I also notice I have of resilience and going and pushing for what I believe in, is also something that comes from my family. They pushed me to believe in things that I believed in. On the other hand, there is another part of me who's very insecure, and I also know that that insecure part comes from this little girl who wanted to be told more things, and they were not the people who were telling me, you are good, you're enough, you know, they didn't, but they told me like the practical things, you can do it, you can get the good grades, you can do whatever you want in life, you know, like. And I noticed those two things live in me, and yes, of course, there is a part of me that still needs to, you know, grow and pamper myself and tell myself, you're good, you're enough, and all of that. But I leave that to myself, and I am happy I reached that point. And so because I have had all of these conclusions lately, I thought it was, yeah, a good idea to share this with you. I would like to know, let me know in the comments, what is your journey? How is your relationship with your parents? Are you working actively on improving that relationship? Of course, in the case that you're not dealing with a pathological liar or criminal or narcissist parent. I'm not talking about that on this video. Alright, if you would like me to make more videos similar to this on similar subjects, make sure to comment also below and let me know. Remember, you can donate for my channel, so you support me to keep doing this. There is also coaching available and other cool stuff, so check the information below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.